Welcome to an all new episode of Damn! That's Good with Big Salinas Barbecue with Randy, Junior, and Ed. Let's get this party started.
Hey,
Damn, that was lagging bad.
welcome in, welcome in. We got some technical difficulties with this episode, so bear with us as we get to it. We will get through it all in a timely manner, but just bear with us through these things. Again, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok while it's still there, Instagram, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Let us know if you have any questions or anything. But let's dive right into it. Randy, what do you got for us?
I got nothing. This was a great fun episode. What you
What
got?
you got?
Uh,
What did we do
no, in
last
this
time?
episode, we're going to provide some tips on using the Weber, charcoal, drum smokers, whatever else we got to kind of provide tips on. Um, Yeah. So let's get into episode 77. What have y'all cooked up lately? I cooked up some ribs yesterday. Come out pretty good. Cooked them on the Weber over some good charcoal briquettes. Or not briquettes, a lump, I should say. Definitely came out really, really good. What have y'all cooked up lately?
And you have me going back looking at what I did cook. I feel like
Last time we did an episode, I had a brisket going. I was actually resting it. And I cooked a little brisket flat on it. So that came out really good, really delicious, great bark. Had a couple different kinds of seasoning on it because I ran out of it. I ran out of cowabunga and stuff, so we had to kind of combine seasonings there to finish it off. But came out really good. There was nothing left of it at the end of the day, so that's how I determined it was pretty good. But that's all I've really cooked lately. How about you, Ed?
What'd you cook
I
up?
did country fried steak the last weekend or so during that snowstorm that we had here in Dallas. Uh, Yesterday for the football games, did tachos with some shredded chicken. That was delicious. Did buffalo chicken ranch tachos. If you haven't done tachos, you're gonna need to do it. It's delicious. Uh, and potato soup. Recent cooks in the Rock's house.
They all sound delicious, as always. Again, he doesn't invite nobody. He could have mailed us a bowl
Something.
or a plate or
Hey, come
something.
pick it up.
I was
Just
gonna
come
say,
by.
yeah,
Come by.
get on them icy roads and come on over and get you a bowl.
Would have made him. Would have taken.
All we had to do was start skating,
Yeah.
roll,
You right?
slide.
Man, crazy.
We could have made it. Could have made it. But yeah, the weather was the roads were icy. Um, I think we got maybe 3.5 feet of snow, maybe four max. I don't see how they said it was 4 or 5 over here in Princeton. I don't see how it was. At least not by our house.
Yeah.
But there's still some ice and snow out on the roads, on the grass where the sun don't hit.
Yeah.
Um, so, what about y'all? How much snow did y'all get? About six
I got
inches.
like 5, 6 ish.
I would say about 6. Yeah, because Chelsea did a snow angel in the morning hours, and then by the time she went back in the afternoon, it was filled up with snow. So
Yeah.
you can even tell where she had done it. So um, I would say probably about 6 is probably about right for us. It was like a blizzard out there at one point. It was hard to see across the street. I was like, oh wow, on it. But yeah, and they built 3 snowmen, so that tells you they got a pretty good amount.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stop saying it
Yeah.
don't snow in Dallas anymore because for like the past 4 or 5 years we've gotten snow every year.
Yeah, but usually we get like an inch barely,
Yeah,
and then
dusting.
Yeah.
it's more the ice the next day that we're gonna get, not this straight snow like that, and then ice over the next day, and then the next day after that. And I think we took the truck. We finally left the house Saturday, and we drove to Chick-fil-A to get some food. We had some other running around to do, and I was like, we got to get this snow off of the bed of the truck. We got the little liner on it, and because it was starting to cave it in as we were driving, so we knocked that off at the Chick-fil-A right there, and able to, that way it didn't cave in and I have to buy a new one. So
Yep.
You got to do that.
Yep.
yeah, well, I guess we'll stop saying it so that way it'll stop snowing.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be our luck. We stop talking about it, then it'll stop happening. Or we're going to say that it happened,
Yeah.
and it ain't going to happen anymore.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be
I'll
totally
be fine with
okay
that. They can keep the cold weather too.
Keep that. It's supposed to be cold coming up. Another Arctic blast.
Yeah, but this one's supposed to cover the most, if not all, the United
Yeah.
States, from what some of the maps are saying. So a lot of places that aren't typically getting cold are going to get some kind of cold
Watch out,
air.
Houston.
I think they're saying like 24 degrees here is the high next
Wow.
week.
I'll stay inside. It's all right.
From what I see, of course, it'll change from between now and then.
Watch it not be 24, it'll be
but
104.
yeah, this is Texas. You never know.
You really don't.
February 1st, it could be 100 degrees.
That's what I'm telling you. All these people from California are moving. I don't know what they're doing to our weather.
I don't know. But let's just dive right into it. What y'all want to talk about? Let's talk about charcoal first. What y'all's preferred charcoal to use? Of course, mine, we're rocking the good charcoal companies. Definitely, if y'all haven't tried that, give it a try. You can get, I think, at Kroger may have it, Sam's Club. Not sure where else. Tractor Supply, I think
yeah.
Lowe's maybe. Yeah, definitely check that out. Burns clean, chemical free, burns hot. So definitely, if you're cooking on the Weber and you want to kind of go low and slow, don't use a full chimney. Use probably about a quarter, and that'll kind of get you right around 300. I would say. You go full chimney, you're going to get 400 or 500 really
Real quick.
Real quick. You ain't got no problem.
I mean, if you're searing, you're good.
Dumping it. Yeah, we really
You
are.
want to cook it hot and super fast and ready to go.
Yeah, but other than that, what are some good brands that y'all would recommend that y'all tried?
The Good Charcoal Company for sure.
Yeah.
You know, B&B. I don't think you can go wrong with them, but it is harder to find their stuff because everybody's starting to use it.
Yeah.
So, there was another one that I've used, and I just can't think of the name of it. That I was I used the Franklin's one that you buy at HEB. That little post oak kind of briquettes that he has there for it, and that one to me worked really good, especially if you're looking at doing, which we'll dive in a little bit later, but you know, a snake method or something like that. It was nice. It kept its temperature, and you could. And I think the little bag lasted a long time because it doesn't burn hot at all.
Yeah. The other one I would say is Jealous Devil. That's been one that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I got some good charcoal. It is kind of a little bit pricey.
A little pricey,
depending on your price point. I know me and a buddy were talking about the good charcoal. I hadn't bought a bag in a while, but for the price of one bag, it's like a 30-pound bag. That one bag will fill up all four of my drums. All four charcoal baskets. One bag, you can probably get 2 bags of that for a price of a Jealous Devil bag. So, I mean, this kind of depends on the price. If you want to go cheap, go cheap. But just try them all. Find the ones that you like.
Sure.
Cheap doesn't mean that it's bad though. So
that is true.
And expensive doesn't mean it's good either. So you're gonna have to find which one that works for you, your methods, what you're using it for, and kind of can
Yep.
lock in from there a little easier. But I would say try different brands.
Yeah. For
For
real.
sure. Are
Try it.
y'all a fan of the? Have you tried any of the flavored charcoal?
Uh,
No.
The ones that have like the little spices infused in it. I don't. I haven't tried. I guess that's more of a Kingsford thing than anything else. I saw somebody buying it the other day, and I shook my head and laughed a little bit, as I don't think it would do anything. But I don't want to spend the money to prove myself right or wrong in that matter. Because then I'm
yep.
stuck with the. If I could find maybe just a little bag and burn it, one night and see what happens.
I mean,
But
it's usually on sale, so you could probably find it.
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. But yeah, no. I like you said. Those are the brands I've tried. The Franklin's one, I tried it just because there was nothing there. I didn't want to stop at another academy or something to run in to get it, the B&B or something like that. I just wanted to kind of buy what we needed to buy and go. And it was at HEB and it was there, and I bought it, and it's worked out really well for me when I've used it for my smokes or my slow cooks or my cooks in general. So, but yeah, the good charcoal company definitely is a winner. Lump or briquettes, I think.
Yep. Can't go wrong. But let's dive in some tips on cooking. What are some tips on the Weber? Who wants to go first?
I don't know if it's a tip. Maybe it's a be careful.
A
When
tip
I
or
was
don't give?
cooking,
What did you mess up on? What did you mess
I
up
was
on?
cooking my brisket. I did the snake method. When I was setting up my snake method, I realized about a third of the way setting it through, I had no more briquettes.
Oh
So,
Lord.
so I had to set it up kind of with uh, the lump at a certain point. But I realized that once one catches, it's gonna then light it further on. It's not gonna slow burn it down. It's literally gonna burn it all the way across. So I think halfway in there, I had to just kind of stop what I was doing, um, took it off, lifted it off, grabbed some warm, uh, some gloves that can stand the heat a little bit, and moved the other ones and just made a pile of it on the side. Um, Still burned very consistent. I think I had it right around 300, give or take a few here and there. But added my little wood chips to it. Got a great, like I said, on it. But for me, like I said, it's setting up, especially if you're going to cook it, is to set up the right amount for your snake method. Because if you do it right, it will keep that temperature, whether you got the bottom wide open and the top wide open, it'll just keep that consistent temperature for you.
Yeah.
It's true. I
You
think
got
that
to play
plays in.
around with it.
Yeah, that also plays into what size Weber you have. Do you have a small 18? Do you got a 22? Do you have a 26? Like I have a 26, so I'm always erring on the side of more fuel just because there's more airflow typically with my cooks. So that's something to take into consideration too. The smaller the kettle, the less you're probably going to need.
Yeah. True.
Sure. I think too, make sure you move it. Like I know the racks come off, so make sure you turn it the right way. That you have your, because I think you can get lost in it. I think that's one side came out a little bit more burnt in style than anything, because I forgot to move it, and I was like, oh, I need to turn it. That's when I decided just to compact it there. So know what fuel you have, especially if you're using lump. Like I said, it's probably more just to have it in one centralized area and try to add more as you go, which I think I ended up, grab a handful and add a little bit in there,
Yeah.
just to,
Yep.
to maintain that temperature. But what tips you got?
That's it.
That's it. I
No,
have
I mean,
noticed.
what
Did
the
y'all
what?
notice? Did you notice that it does take about
Hmm.
5 minutes before any change goes into effect? For me, it does on mine. I don't know if it is just because it takes. If I add more fuel, I was like, is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? You have to give it 5 to 10 minutes before I'm going to realize
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
if
I
you're
want
adding
it. Yeah.
fuel. If you're
So
adding the more air to it, it's gonna come out be a lot quicker. If you're trying to cut off some air, it's gonna take a lot longer. So it just kind of depends on what uh, what the situation calls for. If you want to dial it back a
Yeah.
little bit, then you just kind of adjust and kind of watch and wait for it to come back down, and then
Yeah.
readjust if you need to.
Yeah. I think that comes
So
down to really just controlling your top vent and your bottom vent, and
yeah,
understanding which what does what, right? Like your top vent is going to be more of your heat intensity, where your bottom vent is more of your combustion and your actual general airflow.
yeah,
true.
And learning kind of which one to turn when.
yeah. And you can always open the bottom. Um, so you can, from what I did, is kind of open up the bottom one a little bit more, and then
Yeah.
the top one kind of have it cracked, maybe not even maybe kind of like a pinky finger width, maybe, um, just to kind of give it some giving letting the moisture kind of stay in there a little bit, and it kind of builds up a little better crust, um, which I'll kind of dive into with it coming down to next topic on the drums. But yeah, just got to play around with it and see.
Yeah.
Definitely, the more you leave those vents open, the more oxygen you're going to get in and out. So, kind of depend on what you're cooking.
Yeah. How much smoke
Like I
you want
said,
to
just
hang
always
around?
just
How
play around
long?
with it
Yeah.
and see. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, how long you want to cook, what you're cooking,
Yeah.
temperature, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Well, what are
So,
y'all's favorite like size of kettle? I know we talked a little bit earlier, 18, 22. I've got a 26. That's my preferred. I like to have I'd rather have a bigger one that I have more room to kind of cook more if I ever needed to, but I can always tone it down, and just use half of it for cooking if I need to. What about y'all?
yeah, I could see that. I think ours is what a 22. I think.
Yeah, 22.
Um,
I just wish I had the
so I
actual,
mean,
what is it, the Pro thing that had the whole compartment that it sits in there next to it. I think I had tried to do an attachment to it,
yeah,
and the lid doesn't sit on there right, so air kind of escapes with it. So I don't really use it that much. Um, Unless I'm gonna keep it open if I'm doing a pizza or something like that on the Weber kettle with some of those
yeah,
attachments, then I'll put it on there. But um, I think that's about the only thing I wish I had on it. But yeah, I could see the 26. Because there's times I wish I had a little bit more room to fit everything and not have to be like, okay, I got to cook this, take it off, and then add more to it. And y'all have been over and see that when I've done that. I have to do that before, so.
all the time,
Yeah.
all the
Well,
What
time.
some of
about
us don't have 85 grills like you, punk.
right, Randy?
You can invest. You can invest.
What's do you have any
This,
accessories for your guys' Webers that you really enjoy using?
The one I have came with it, and that's where the basket that holds the lid. Randy has the lid where you got to kind of mash it. You got to find the thing and do it. Mine just you kind of just flip it over and
Yeah.
boom, there it is. I think I need to tighten a few things on that, but it's a screw at the end of the day. But no real like must have accessories I've that I have. I know there's some. I think was it you that showed me? I think it's coming on the 26th that they're going to have or maybe the 22 as well. They're going to basically have a cast iron top to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you can do it like a Blackstone or something
yeah,
like
I've seen
that.
that.
That would be cool. I think that's going to be something uh,
I mean, they're out there. You
to
just have to
find
find
it.
them.
Yeah,
You gotta find the
and
right place.
Well, yeah, they have those accessories. You can buy the accessories for the ugly drum smokers. I think it's udsparts.com or .net or something like that. It's got some parts in there that you can use on the Weber because it's all. If you have a standard 22 inch, if you have the 26 inch, then you got to kind of
Yeah.
look and see.
You
But
have a
there's someone
20.
that
Yeah.
makes
If
it.
you have a 26, you're kind of up creek without a paddle on a lot of the accessories. So
Yeah, because you just have to be overkill.
Yeah, I just hey,
Um,
I'd rather have the room.
What would
yeah,
you rather have?
I mean, like
I mean,
rotisserie. Like I'd love to have a rotisserie, for my 26. But I will say the Roto Q fits on top of the 26 just fine. So,
yeah,
uh, you know,
it'll fit on any of
so
them.
that's something to keep in mind. There, you'll if there's a will, you'll find a way. So the only one
Yep,
I'd say that I would,
there's an accessory
yeah,
for it.
exactly. The only one I would say that I don't have that I would like is the slow and sear. But other than
Yeah,
that, the cast iron, I have a cast iron that I can put on top if I needed to. Uh, would it be nice to have one? Sure.
to do it.
But I've got
Yeah,
a big 14-inch cast that
huh.
I can use if I needed to. So,
That'll fit just fine.
yep, exactly.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah. See, the only thing I use is the grill grates that I'll use on it
Yeah,
occasionally.
that's a good one.
I have the pizza accessory, but I hadn't used it in a while. Uh, but I use the grill grates more than anything because it's not meant for that particular one, but it'll work.
Yeah.
So I can use it on any kind of grill. Um, Definitely comes in handy if you want to sear something, sear some steaks, or you just want to cook something. Get some grill marks on there without kind of burning it. Yeah, this is the accessory I use. What else y'all want to talk about?
You guys do any modifications to your Webers? I know that there's some people who change the handles out. They make custom ones. Have you done any of that with yours?
Nah,
No, me
I have
either.
not.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen those, and I was like, why?
I got to
You
do that.
know, just I guess it, to be cool. You know, I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong, but no, I'm like, I haven't gone to any of those extremes. To,
I think the only one that I'd be interested is my top vent is changing out. I've seen so many people get their grill too hot and it melt that plastic on that handle. Uh, that for me, not that I'm going to get it too hot, but just a preemptive thing to make sure that I don't have that issue later on down the line. That's something I might do this summer. We'll see. Same with the top handle. I could see
Yeah,
making a wood one to pop on there. I'm sure I could find one online if I
to do
needed
it.
to.
Was like the handle on the front. It tells you don't screw it too tight, but then you start using it after the second time. It's like I needed it to screw a little bit tighter because it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
too loose
yeah,
really quickly.
yeah. I'm with you there.
But and then the grill cover. Uh, I wish that it made it a lot easier to kind of keep on and put on.
Yeah,
But the handles on that kind of like on mine, it tore. So I need to replace that one. But yeah. Um, and then we'll kind of dive into the to drums, and they'll kind of all tie in together. But like I was kind of talking about, like on the drums, to kind of get a better bark, closing off that top vent. Certainly, if you want to cook hot and fast, low and slow, and you kind of the bark isn't staying on as good, closing off that top vent a little bit. I think I run mine maybe halfway, if not a quarter of a way closed or open, I should say. Um, and yeah, a couple times I've done it. It does. I have noticed a better bark on it than before. Um, Definitely need to try one more thing on there um, before the first competition. Just kind of see how to kind of keep the grease off the bottom. Um, make it easier on the cleanup on myself. But yeah, definitely with the drums, depending on what it is, letting that charcoal get hot. Um, Typically, I would light it from the bottom, but definitely don't light it from the top. Use a chimney if you can, torch, whatever you got. Um, and then, of course, with the charcoal, if it smokes a lot, you probably have some moisture in that charcoal, so don't be alarmed if it's smoking more than normal. 'Cause with the rain, the snow, the moisture that's in the air from all that, it's going to affect the charcoal a little bit. So just let it go. It'll clear itself out. You just gotta give it some time.
Are you storing most of your charcoal outside, or do you have a place inside that you store it?
Most of mine is in the shed, but the open bags I'll leave outside. So occasionally some of those will be like when I start it. As soon as I put the lid on and close it, it'll come out smoking for quite a bit, and then once it clears out, it's just like
Yeah.
normal. You just have to get that moisture to cook out of there. But definitely, I mean, if you got somewhere garage, shed, something away from the elements that we don't,
Yeah.
that'll help prevent that
I know
moisture.
there's some people
Uh,
who buy the special containers to kind of keep it in. I
yeah,
haven't found much use for, I
little
haven't
bins.
yeah, I haven't found much use for that myself, but mine's typically stored in the garage. I don't really have as much moisture issues in that particular sense, but whatever floats your
Yeah,
boat.
That's it.
yep, yeah, yeah. See, I couldn't do it in our garage because my garage I have to organize everything, move stuff around, and get rid of some stuff. Um, Still waiting on someone to come get his little refrigerator that he complained about for several years, and still sitting there,
It might sit there a
still
little
sitting
longer. I
there.
don't have a truck to bring it.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace.
I gotta. Do you know how many
But
boxes are
yeah,
in
either
my
way,
in my?
you gotta
No, I need to come get
you
it.
gotta keep that charcoal dry. The biggest thing I would say with the charcoal.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, what else y'all want to talk about? I know Ed had some ideas.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of comparing the Weber versus your drum. You obviously have both. Is there one that you prefer to use, or one that you go to for certain cooks, and one that you choose for others, or do you kind of is it just a even 50-50 whatever you walk out to that day?
Yeah, about 50-50. I mean, if I'm cooking just a brisket, it's gonna probably go on the drum, just so that way I can I can pump up the temperature a little bit. Don't have to worry about babysitting
Yeah.
it. Um, if I'm cooking steaks or something quick, then I'll probably go the Weber for sure. Um, Ribs. I mean, if it's a 3-4 racks of ribs, it's probably gonna go on the drum. So this kind of depends on what the cook
Makes
is,
sense.
and how much I'm cooking. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's it's depending on what I'm in the mood
Yeah.
with. So sometimes I'll go with the old propane grill on some steaks. If it's I don't want to be out there for a while, I just want to fire something up and cook. There's nothing wrong with that.
True.
Same thing if you have a pellet grill and you want to cook on a pellet grill instead of charcoal, hey, go for it. Who cares? As long as you and the family are enjoying
Yeah.
it. I don't probably be like, oh no, you can't use no
No, no,
propane.
don't do that.
My
Propane. God.
what if yeah.
There it is. I was waiting for it. You brought the magic word.
You said it.
It's like the whole like burgers. Would
I mean, I don't
burgers?
see
Would you
that's.
rather have a burger off of a grill or on a flat black stone?
They were
Mm.
talking about that propane the other day, and I was like, you know what? If that's what you have, if you're gonna go out there and cook hot dogs and hamburgers, and you have propane, you have all kinds, wood
Yeah.
burning. You have it just about every kind you can think of. Um, and you're just gonna cook hamburger and hot dogs. Hit the propane, call it a day.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to people's houses, we'll go over there and they have a pellet grill and they have a big green egg and they have, this, and yet they want to use their pellet grill. Okay, cool. But, you got to take that into factor, especially if you're hosting what's going to get it done. To me, be quickest in all time. You don't want people waiting for food. And for me, it's just needing to start earlier. But uh, that's just, but like I said, you use what you have. I don't have a problem with cooking on propane
No.
or charcoal or stuff like that. I know for catering events, you'll fire up Dorothy out there, and that way you can put a bunch of stuff on there all at one time and give it a different kind of wood and burn that wood out there. So just use what you have. You're the one eating it, not us.
Right.
Yep.
Well, we might be if you invite us.
Eh, except for Ed. Ed don't ever
Yeah.
invite, so
Nah,
you don't got to worry
nah,
about it.
you never have to
No.
worry about that. Uh, what do you guys feel like the most challenging aspect of using a drum for a new user, for somebody who hasn't cooked on a drum before?
Uh, I would probably say, I mean, really, it's kind of dialing in and knowing how to get the temperatures. But I mean, it's the same thing on a drum as it would be a Weber. The aspect that you're just kind of opening and closing one vent and letting it circulate. So it kind of depends on which one. Certainly, the cheat code to it would be a Super 55 because you can kind of just get it dialed in and kind of walk away and not have to worry about it. You can open the lid. Um, on most drums, 95% of them, you open that lid and you leave it there. If you don't close off that bottom vent, that temperature is going to rise really, really quickly because that charcoal is going to start lighting more. The flame's going to come up, and you can go from 300 all of a sudden to 600 in a matter of minutes.
Yikes.
Um, so basically, you're on a ticking clock. When you open that drum, do what you need to do. Take off the meat. Um, turn it, whatever you got to do, and then close the lid back. Um, but I mean, there's no challenge to it. You just have to, just like you would a Weber or offset. You just kind of have to play around with it and cook. The biggest thing is just cook.
I would say that's probably
Either
right.
it's going to come out good or it's going to come out
Yeah,
bad.
I would say that's probably right. Temperature control, but I think that's with anything though. Even with the propane,
Yeah.
it's temperature control. Even with the
Yeah,
pellet smoker, do you how much smoke do you want it to get? You
Yeah.
know, obviously the closer you are, the further away, more or less. So you just got to kind of figure out your happy medium in it,
Yeah.
for sure. But I don't know. I would agree with your statement.
Yeah. Um,
yep.
so,
And the good thing about it is you have so much charcoal,
yeah,
you can light it and you can literally play around with it for an hour or two,
yeah,
kind of dialing it in,
that's true.
messing around with the temperature before you put anything on
Yeah,
there.
you can definitely get
So,
way more
no
charcoal
problem.
in a drum than you could in a Weber. Would you say that's one of the advantages then
Yep.
too? Is cook time and how long
Mhm.
how long you can cook on a drum versus a Weber?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Because I mean, if you want to cook, something, if let's say 400 degrees, you're gonna get what 4 hours max off of a Weber off of the charcoal. I
Yeah,
mean, you're gonna have to keep adding it and adding and adding to extend it further. Whereas you go to um, a drum and you have that 400 degrees, you may be able to get, depending on the charcoal and the size of the basket, you may be able to get, you know, 10 hours, 12 hours, depending on which one. Some are going to burn hotter, so
for
you may
sure.
get 8 hours. This kind of depends, but you can extend that a lot further
Yeah.
than you can.
So kind of advantage disadvantage there is you're getting, you can either
Yep,
you can get way more time and you know, actual result out of a drum than you would out of
yep,
a kettle. So
yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
yep,
Um,
yeah.
any plans to build your own
No,
uh own drum? Or so obviously you mentioned Super 55 earlier. Any other companies or places that you would shout out for somebody who is interested in a drum? Where would they look to find information there?
so Super 55 drum smokers on smokerbuilder.com. You can go to Short Rib Drum Smokers, has some good ones. Um, Race Crew Drum Smokers has another good one that's throughout Texas. Of course, you got your Gateway Drum Smokers, and there's a whole bunch. Those are the top ones I would probably recommend. Um, Trying to think of what else. Hunsucker Smokers is another good one. Cotton Gin can produce some good ones. I mean, you just gotta have to find one, maybe possible local to you, so you don't have to have it shipped. Um, and
Sure.
sometimes shipping can cost you a good penny, but find which one fits your style, um, and rock with that. I mean, definitely the one I first got into was the short rib drum smokers, and that one I've it cooks like a charm. But we busted out when I need all four drums.
Yeah.
Other than that, it kind of just sits here at home, and I'll use it every now and then. But they're all good drum smokers. You just got to find the one you want.
For
So
sure. And I think a lot of those guys still have like plans or kits that you can get from them too. You don't have to necessarily buy the full setup from them. So you can kind of pick and choose the best of all the
yeah,
of all of them that you like or that fit your
yeah,
kind of price range even, it's your drum,
yeah,
make it your own.
yeah. It's like Frank with Smoker Builder. He has the plans, and he sells the parts. So if you just want just the parts off the Super 55, you can do
Mhm.
that. You can build it yourself. He can build it for you. Like mine, I have. I put that together. That's the reason why I shook my head no, because it's a pain in the butt to try to put everything in there and put it together, paint it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can also go to uh, udsparts.com or .net or something like that, and you can order some parts off of there. Like I said earlier, um, I know there's another guy, Stephen Powell, here in DFW area that will kind of sell you some plans and guide you through there. So definitely hit him up. Um,
Yeah.
or if you don't know how to get in touch with him, just hit me up and I'll guide you in his direction. But yeah, there's people that do sell the plans or they sell the parts or they make you the parts, and they'll walk you through it. So if you do want to
Yeah.
just build your own, go for it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's a reason why they call ugly drums for a reason, because they're meant to be ugly, but they
There
will
you go.
cook real good.
That's all that matters
Yeah,
right there.
yep. But now the thing I've noticed now is a lot of people now in the competition scene is going back to offsets. I don't think we will, but I mean, because it's a lot easier loading drums in and out of a trailer than trying to get in a smoker up there and smoker back and
Especially
but
you that load it by yourself.
yeah,
Uh,
Right.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even imagine you doing an offset like that by yourself with and
I'd have to
unloading.
have a winch.
You'd have to have something in there.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
Agreed.
way. Um, I've seen that. We've been to competitions and I've seen the offsets kind of make a comeback. I've seen a lot less pellet smokers than we used to at one point. Like everybody used to was like I think we went to Weatherford last year. Matter of fact, there wasn't as many, but the year before, everybody was using pellet smokers to cook their brisket,
Let's go all in on pellet smokers.
and those are expensive. Let's be real; those are
Yeah.
really expensive. And I mean, we've known people that have bought. Hey, I went and bought three of them, and they could cook each meat on it, and now they're going to drums, and now they're going to they just keep changing and going with whatever times. I would say, for people, stick to what you do, stick to what you know. Um, because I'm sure it's been out there. World champs have probably used the same thing, same method they've
yeah,
used for years, and have perfected it and got it better on that. So
Yeah.
yep. And then yeah, at the end of the day, it all comes down to good barbecue. If you can cook good barbecue, you have a shot. Um, that's the
Yep.
reason why Junior don't cook because he can't cook good barbecue.
yeah, no,
He cook good steaks, but not barbecue.
I cook a better chicken than you.
Whatever.
I can do better than disqualified. I tell you
I haven't gotten
Nope. No
disqualified.
comment.
They
that.
got disqualified.
No, a chicken scares me. So no, at the competitions, people say, "Well, what do you cook at it?" I do the beans. I leave that all to him, and I give credit where credit's due. So you asked him on that, and y'all figure that out because there is a lot of time and stuff that goes into cooking it and learning it, and definitely learning those drums and how each one, because each one of your drums is different in their own little
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You got to know, okay, it's windy. This one's going to be good for this. This one will be good for that, and switch it up as you go. I think, I mean, because I'm sure you had a game plan. We went to the last Weatherford one, and then it rained the whole week, the whole time we were there. So it's like, that game plan probably changed a little bit than what we had, than we wanted it to be. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because our drums, they all run different temperatures. They'll have different woods in there. Um, so yeah, everything's gonna be totally different. Uh,
Yeah.
smoke wise. That's the reason why a lot of people will go. When they use a pellet smoker, they'll be able to kind of use the pellets that they want to. If you're using an offset, you're basically running all the same smoke, um, which can be good. It could be good or bad depending on um, the judges. So it all kind of depends. But like I said, at the end of the day, it all comes down to good barbecue. Just
Oh,
cook and enjoy it. It's a fun ride. But yeah, other than that, what y'all want to discuss before we wrap up? Anything else? Nothing else?
I think that wraps up most of the questions I had. The only other one that I had is, do you feel like it's more difficult to maintain uh, a drum than it is for a Weber? Obviously, Weber's been around for years, and dependability there, relatively cheap overall, and people have been able to maintain theirs for years. You feel like that kind of holds true with drums as well?
Yeah. The paint is going to be a different story because depending on the temperature, like on some of my drums, like you can see it on the orange BK smoker. You can see around the valve where it's darker. So some of the heat has kind of changed the color from orange to like a brownish color. You may notice it on some of the other ones. If you kind of look at the pictures, they'll have a green smoker, and then you have a
yeah.
brown spot. It just kind of depends. You're going to get that more on a drum smoker depending on the paint. And I mean, other than that, I mean, you're able to keep it clean. You just clean it, maintain it. Clean the grates, keep the water from hitting the actual drum and rusting it, and you're fine.
Yeah.
It's just maintaining the baskets and making sure that the baskets don't get warped. But
Yeah.
good thing about that is, if it does, just go buy
I,
a new one.
I
I
knew
was gonna
one.
say
Yeah, just
that's
buy
the
a new
nice
one.
thing is that you can swap that out pretty easy.
Yeah. Same thing with the grates. You can buy them off of Amazon, buy one, get five free. If you got
I
my
was about
luck.
to say
Amazon.
that. Get an Amazon. Oops, and there you go. You made the dream. Yeah.
Get a whole case
Thanks,
for
Jeff
one.
Bezos. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely easy. Very easy to maintain. The same thing with the Weber or anything else. You just gotta clean it.
Yeah.
So typical thing. Any other questions?
So, would
Nothing.
you recommend a drum smoker and a Weber for a backyard or first time cook as opposed to an offset?
Yeah, I mean, because it'll be cheaper for you, and it's easier for you to kind of learn on. And then you can eventually, I mean, if you want to get an offset, you can always get just a cheap offset, from Academy. Um, but I'd probably recommend personally do some drum smoker and a Weber, just so that way you can get style, two different style of cooks. You're able to cook low and slow, hot and fast on both of them. You're still going to get the smoke flavor on the drum as you would an offset. Is just not going to be as good of a smoke flavor. Just like pellet smoker, you're going to be able to get. Same good. You're gonna get smoke flavor on the brisket as you would an offset, but it's not gonna be as good and prominent. You're not gonna get that bark as you would off an offset, but you can get close to it if you know what you're doing and are able to, when you start cooking more and more, you're able to kind of dial everything in.
Yeah.
So,
Just like with
yeah,
everything, you got to have practice.
yeah,
You're gonna have to cook.
yeah, yeah. And that basket, you can get probably 3 or 4 cooks off of it. You just gotta get all
Yeah.
the charcoal dust off of there, all the ash, and you're able to light it back up. Get you another cook,
There
third
you
cook,
go.
fourth cook.
I think that
So,
was something that I think that's something that I didn't realize early on with charcoal was that even if it's burned, if it's still there, like you knock off some of the old ash, some of that dust, and relight, use some of it.
yep.
When I first started cooking, was I was dumping all of it from the previous cook, even if I had like half of it, and I always felt like I was being wasteful, and obviously I was. Um, but yeah, it's something to to take notice of and realize that you can reuse that till it's all ash.
Yep.
Correct. And how often do y'all decide, hey, enough's enough? Let me just burn this off so I can clean my basket out the next time I go to cook? Because I won't do it that night. Because by the time it gets down to temperature, I may say, hey, you know what? I have a little bit left, and I just like Ed saying, I have a little bit left. I'm going to add a little bit more charcoal on top or some lump, whatever, right on top, cook it down, cook my steaks, cook my pork chops, cook whatever I'm cooking. And then let's say, you know what, let me just burn this off. And then that way, the next time I use it, I can go clean it out and then get started. Do y'all ever do that? Or y'all just kind of just say, hey, you know what, after this cook, I'm just going to burn whatever's off. Just leave it wide open to go.
I think I typically tend to do that more often, especially if it's not enough that I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, if it's only like 5 or 6 briquettes left or whatever, or a small pile of lump, I'm just gonna burn it off. I'm not gonna. To me, it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth the the dollar or less that it is of charcoal that I have in there.
Then you can't
So
find charcoal one day. You're like, oh, no, just
I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that. Oh
Yeah.
no, believe me, I'm kicking myself for all the
all the
cooks
other times. Yeah.
that I
The
threw
previous
out.
ones.
So
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think I do the same thing. Yeah, I look at it down and there's a little bit left, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna burn this. But if
yeah,
I've done it on a snake method where I'm like, man, I still got a half of this snake method to go. I'll
yeah.
stick my hand, get the glove, put my hand in there, knock that off to the side where it doesn't burn. Pull the other side off, let that burn off, and then that way I can save.
Yep.
But yeah, if it's a little bit, I'm gonna let it burn off and then put it on there, and then I'll clean it. Real quick
The
next time.
the only caveat that I have to that is if I have just a little bit and I know that I'm going to have a lot of cooks coming up and it's time for a cleaning, I might save that little bit just to kind of heat up the inside and then wipe everything down the next time before I start my full cook.
Yeah.
I know there's some people who don't like to heat up before they start to clean, unless you're doing like a full soap water like full cleaning. I don't. I For me, unless you're just not tolerant of the heat, then I have no problem cleaning while it's a little warm. I'm not getting
Yeah.
it 400 or 500 degrees hot, but 100 to
Yeah.
200 and cleaning, I'm fine with that.
I mean, you can get you some aluminum foil and clean it off, and it'll be fine. I've
Yep,
done that
exactly.
where I've had grease. So not this last cook, but I think the cook or so before. I forgot to clean it off of from the royal, so it still had
Yep.
uh, some grease still left in there. So I kind of cooked that off and then took everything off and just scraped it down real good with a piece of aluminum foil, and it was fine.
Yeah. How
Um,
often do you guys do full cleans, like soap, water, full cleans of your grills?
when it's got too much grease or
Yeah,
too much buildup.
yeah, I had to do that
Um,
once and just really soap it down, scrub it
yeah,
down, and Because yeah,
Yeah, that's me in the Weber now. And the drums, it's after every comp.
Yeah,
In
that
the
makes sense.
offset, it's probably maybe twice a year, so maybe every 6 months.
Yeah,
Um, but again, it's gonna be depending on the build up in there. If I see that hey, stuff starting to come off, then I'll take everything out and do a little quick clean off of it.
yeah.
So
I found myself using most of the time that I'm cooking on my Weber, I'm using the snake method. So a lot of times I have room to put like a drip pan in there to kind of catch
to catch
to
it, yep,
slow down how often I have to do my cleaning.
there you
So
go.
everybody
yeah,
finds their own kind of tips, trick, hacks, whatever you want to call them.
yeah,
But get that grease out of there. Don't be like somebody's uncle. Oh wait, that'd be my uncle too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But with it, let's wrap up this show. It was a great fun episode 77. Of course, as always, be sure to check us out on all the social media sites: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Um, I think that's it. I mean, we're on X, but I haven't posted on X. I may have to now if they ban TikTok. So I may have to. But yeah, be sure to check us out on all social media sites. Check out our podcast. Let us know if you got questions. Send us those questions on emails, all that kind of stuff. Um, be sure to give our products a try if you haven't already. Try them once, try them twice, because you never know. You just may get hooked on big taste, big flavor, big Salinas. Junior, Ed,
That would be Ed's turn.
Oh, well, all right then. Like Randy said, tag us in your next cook. We want to see what you're doing. Otherwise, grill on, my friends. We'll catch you in the smoke next time.
Short and sweet. I love it. Now let me talk for 10 minutes. You're not playing. Definitely
yeah, I can't wait.
go give us a follow everywhere. YouTube, like you said there. You never know. I think one thing I may do, and they will come out of my pocket, is we may do some giveaways on some products and stuff on there, but you got to be following us on there to do it. If TikTok does get banned, definitely like go say do the other ones because I do like doing those giveaways. That I do the videos that I put up the money for Randy to do it. So go out there and do it. I want to do a cook one as well where we the get out there and get show us what you're cooking, show the products on there. I will have a product review in our next episode. So one of us write it down. I tried trying something new, a new rub because I ran out of ours. I had to improvise. I need to go in the house and get them. Some more rubs and stuff. But so I do have a couple rub things there. But like I said, anytime you're out there cooking, grilling, smoking, or hey, you're just like me chilling, watching them guys up there above me do the grilling and the cooking. Do it with love, do it with passion, and we will see you down the road.